Yeah, when you go to restaurants, I have to turn my the
phone
flash,
flashlight.
yeah, to be able to read it. And between that and not being able to hear, I think it drives my wife nuts.
Well, not being able to hear that's more of a choice than a physical ailment.
Hello, my friends.
Thank you for joining us for the PEBCAK Podcast, a weekly information security show featuring some all-around good people. It is week 29 of 2023, and we are once again recording 2 episodes in 1 week. With me, I have my co-host, Havoc the Mouthpiece, who took out a second mortgage to pay for all his Prime Day purchases.
Liar, I took a second mortgage out to pay for my first mortgage, you weirdo.
Mortgage inception.
Is that possible?
Is that how that works?
Yeah, I love it. String mortgages along. That's awesome.
What could possibly go wrong?
It's like check kiting. Just as long as you perpetuate and you don't stop, then you can't fail.
I was
Remember those things where you could transfer your credit card balance from one credit card to the next?
Yeah.
Has anyone ever done that?
Yeah,
dude, I was just about to
to.
say that. So when I was in college, I got up and it was like an economics class, and I was talking about how I had a couple credit cards and I was just floating money, like it took out whatever, and I was doing bounce transfers. And then I think it was the teacher was like, that's like borderline illegal, right? I'm like, I didn't know.
Is it?
The trick was finding like the zero interest along with like no transfer fees is the way that it made sense. Eventually it caught up with me and it sucked, but whatever.
You still had to pay it off.
Always got to pay the piper or declare bankruptcy.
Or do both.
And we have Glenn Medina, responsible for the most show recording reschedules this year.
I apologize, guys. 1,000 pardons, but we still get it done. Come on,
1,000
you can't.
pardons.
How
old are you?
Blame me for that. You don't remember that? That's from some Sinbad show. Is it Sinbad? Somebody
there you
says,
go. That's why you're old.
There you go.
Sinbad.
Dating
I
yourself
am.
there, Glenn.
Sorry, man.
Age shaming Glenn.
I know. See,
Diapers and
I'm
depends
the
can only
oldest.
be so far away, buddy.
I can't believe I'm the oldest guy in the group still. Unbelievable.
That with your landline and your fax machine too.
Hey, I still have it. Don't be upset.
But you're not the ugliest person in the group, so you have that going for you.
Quit talking about Chris that way.
I was making fun of myself. Come on now. I wouldn't do that to Chris. He's my boy. You're my boy, Blue.
Yeah. You may not be the prettiest, but you sure are the scariest. The guy that can cut in front of a line and no one will skip a beat. Tell him.
The self-checkout.
Hey, dude, there's a line here, bro.
Yeah, no one said anything. That's for sure.
No, I guess this week, combined, we have decades of information security experience here, not just to educate, but to entertain. We've got 4 awesome stories for this week, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Before we start the show, we did not cover the answer to Glenn's riddle on last week's show, so here we have it. Glenn, why don't you read out the riddle again and then give us the answer?
So here's the riddle. A person is born in 1975, lives 22 years, and dies in 1975. What's the answer?
It's not the same person.
Same person. I'll put it a different way, and I think once you hear it this way, it may make more sense. Cowboy rides in on Friday, stays 2 days, and leaves on Friday. Same concept.
It's a Friday of a different week.
Nope. Still can't get this? No?
I have no idea, man. I'm gonna
give you one more chance here, Brian.
Okay.
That's it. You're gonna cheat. Okay. The horse's name is Friday.
Ah.
Get it? Rides in on Friday, stays 2 days, and leaves on Friday. Now, born in 1975, lives 22 years, could have been born in room 1975.
His name is 1975.
Could be.
Who's on first
No.
base?
Yes, who's on first base? But yeah, so maybe was literally born in 1975, lived for 22 years, and then died in room 1975 is the answer.
Got it. Good one, Glenn.
Stupid. I hate you.
I like time machine.
I barely got
Time
that.
machine is the best answer.
It was. I'm sticking with that.
Which time machine? No,
Yeah.
come on, guys. I told you it wasn't a time machine.
He was unplugged from the Matrix. All right.
For those of our listeners that did get that, kudos to you.
Send us a message. We'll try and get you some kind of swag.
I think we're on verge of ordering the USB condoms, if I'm not mistaken. We're just figuring out a sourcing issue right now. So
Sourcing and
keep
logo.
listening, listeners.
Yeah, we might be
Sourcing
going
and
through a
logo.
rebranding, so stay tuned on that.
What?
Hey, so real quick, I was on the Cloudy with a Chance of Trust podcast, and the podcaster that was interviewing me, Pam Kubitowski, she said, want to know what PEBCAK was. I told her, she's like, oh man, this is like that whole like ID10 type of thing, right? I was like, yeah. And funny enough, I think Glenn actually wanted to call the podcast that, and I said, no, that's stupid. Nobody knows what the hell that means. So apparently I'm the stupid one.
Love you, Pam. I still love you, Pam. You're awesome.
She is awesome. I'll link through to your show once it's posted to you, Brian, if you want to hear Brian over on a rival podcast. One more programming note. Podcast app Stitcher is permanently shutting down. So if you listen to us through there, you'll have to find us on one of their other platforms, such as iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, or Google Podcasts. Since we're doing 2 shows in 1 week, the stories this week will be less InfoSec focused, which may be a good thing if you're more to market towards the less technical audience out there. This week, we're going to talk about Mark Zuckerberg's latest app. ChatGPT is used to do good. For our third topic, a post office tracking scam. And we'll close with Prime Day talk. For our first topic, Mark Zuckerberg has pulled off the ultimate zucking. He's known to steal ideas from other people and companies and integrate them into Facebook. To combat the app TikTok, Instagram released their Reels feature. To counter Nextdoor, the neighborhood social media app, Facebook released Facebook Neighborhoods. Now that never took off, but he at least tried to steal their idea. For everyone that's tired of Twitter's shenanigans, Zuck launched a text-only version of Instagram called Threads to directly compete with Twitter. You know who's not on the app Threads? The
Elon.
entire European Union and Elon Musk, that's true. Instagram's data collection and privacy policies are so atrocious that it cannot pass the GDPR sniff test. Instagram Threads collects a wide range of data from users according to its app privacy blurb on the Apple App Store, including health information, purchase histories, financial data, location, contact list, search and browsing history, usage data, and a somewhat ominous category of data listed simply as, quote, sensitive info. Now, as we say on this podcast, if the app is free, you are the product.
It's not for me.
It's true. If the app is free, it's not for me. Yeah, that rhymes.
I like it. You know what's funny is when I look over let me start that over. Yeah, when I looked into that, the two that kind of stood out the most was the financial info. I'm like, how on earth do they even know anything? And then the sensitive category, I was like, wow, that's weird. When is it capturing information? Like, does it know about my bowel movements? Like, that's cool. You know, go for it.
But how are they doing that knowing, I guess that's my question, is like if you turn off cross-app tracking on an iPhone, do they still have access to that information?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe they're planning on it. Maybe just like when you're in the app, it's just always capturing as much as it can, whenever it can. But also, you know, Facebook Threads, that's also on an Android device, which has got tons of holes in it. And I'm sure it could reach in deep and pull out as much information as it wants.
So funny you bring that up, Brian. The other population of users not on Threads right now is Android. They only have an iOS app right now.
Oh,
Get
I
out
stand
of here.
corrected.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's in quote soft launch right now, and even despite being in soft launch and only being available for a couple days, they've already racked up 30 million registered users. And the huge benefit of using Facebook threads is that you automatically get all of your Instagram followers. They all transfer over to threads. So there's no need to tell everyone to follow you on a new platform. And that's a shortfall of apps like Blue Sky and Mastodon. Like even me, like I post my Mastodon link in the show notes. You can follow me there. And my following there is just not what it is on Twitter and the other social media apps, just because people have to opt in. But threads, everyone automatically switches over and follows you.
I think the funniest part.
You guys?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, please.
I was gonna say, I didn't even know about Facebook threads until I went to the trending section of Twitter, where it was people posting about it, and every post is like, we checked it out for 5 minutes and left and came right back to Twitter. Like, I'm leaving Twitter, and then they're like, I'm back. That was terrible.
Boomeranged.
Yeah. Just on that note, it's like, how much more are we just going to be like, oh God, yet another social platform? I'm just like, I'm done. I'll be honest with you guys. I've basically shut down my Facebook account, and the only thing I'm using is to communicate with some relatives on Messenger, and that's pretty much it. And then IG, only because you guys make me, right? But I'm pretty close to just stop and not use these social accounts. It just makes me angry.
I think I'm beyond my 30-day cleanse of IG and Facebook, which is pretty nice. And I felt like maybe if I do keep it, I'm just going to check it like once a month or something. I did feel like I was spending way too much time on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No other place to send you those war TikTok videos, Brian.
I know. You just have to send it to me the old-fashioned way. Carrier pigeon. Hey, what's funny or interesting about Nextdoor, which is kind of like, I'm on Nextdoor, and I love just to listen to and watch to hear people complain. I had no idea that Facebook launched Facebook Neighborhoods, but in 2005, when I was in a small town, I was still living in the small town Globe, Arizona, and I had this idea. And I think MySpace was pretty popular, and I went to the Globe Miami Chamber of Commerce with this idea, and I said it's going to be called the Globe Miami Front Door, and the Front Porch, and it's going to be just a community site just for the people in the Globe Miami area. We can post news, share pictures, blah blah blah. You get your own personal email, and they were like, and I think I went in there. I told them, I was like, yeah, all in. It's probably going to cost you guys to pay me probably $10,000 to pull this off. And they're like, there's no way. Like, we want nothing to do with this. And I get it. Like, it was a small town. Like, their whole thing was like, something to do antique shops and whatnot. But it's funny. Like, now when I see things like, the Nextdoor app, I'm like, hey man, that was kind of my idea back in the day. And then the same thing, when I was working for a car dealership, I pushed really hard to take the site online. Like, there wasn't very many websites for car dealerships, period. Like, there was for new, but not like used car dealerships or dealerships in general. And I busted my ass to really get that taken off. And I think it was about 5 years. The owner came back to me like after I had left. He's like, man, you were just too ahead of your time on this. He's like, like nobody was ready for it, but now like we're getting pushed. Where there's people want it, and you have more of a global reach with it. But we tried like eBay Motors and stuff, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. But I had some false starts there back in the day.
You just needed some VC backing. That's all you needed. Someone to believe in you. You had the ideas. Nextdoor turned out to be $1 billion company, so you missed out on that.
I'm okay with that. I'm happy where I'm at right now.
That's good.
No, I'm
it's
not.
Like that.
Where's my gun?
You missed it. Missed the boat.
It's like that saying, I rolled the dice and I got a 5. Should I re-roll it again and try to get a 6?
No, I've never heard that saying, but I'm glad that you brought that up.
Yeah. So you rolled a 5, Brian. You could have rolled a 6 if you took your idea public, but I think you're happy with the 5.
Well, as long as you keep rolling, that's all that matters.
Rolled snake eyes. You know what? I want to say back in the day, I had no idea what even VC funding really was. You have to understand, like my reach would have been at best in a town that had 8,000 people. It may have been like maybe 1,500 people probably would have used that app. Like, no one even had high speed internet. It was still dial up. I just didn't know what was out there.
It's
He's
true.
young and dumb.
The infrastructure wasn't in place. Like when you think about Webvan during the .com boom, that's basically DoorDash today. Or Instacart. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And those are billion-dollar companies. They're just too ahead of their time.
Dude, I was at Fry's. When you say Instacart, like you can order groceries and whatnot. I went through self-checkout. I told you guys this story, but I didn't tell you was I actually got a coupon. It was like, order online and pick up, and we will give you $75 off your $150 purchase. I'm like, that's like that's insane. So I'm gonna use it. Yeah, that's actually pretty.
Yeah, but they didn't tell you that the charge for that was like $150. Yeah, for the fees.
No service fee or anything. It's just like, just use it once. We want to see what you think about it. So that Fry's would be Kroger company.
Yeah, because I think I did that with like Taco Bell. I think you've heard me say that before. My dad wanted Taco Bell. I happened to be out of town, and the meal itself is like $7 or $8, like a taco, a burrito, and a drink. And by the time it got delivered to his house, I think he saw the bill and it was like $25. And my dad was furious with me that I had done that for him.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Oh, what we do for convenience. Chris knows all about that.
It's true.
True. Taco schmel. There you go.
Chris, how often do you order Taco Bell?
Not as often as you think. Basically, every time I order it, I send it to you guys in the group chat to annoy you guys.
What?
That's a lot. Oh my god.
I think I've only gotten maybe like.
I was like, he got 2 small kids. I can't believe that order. It's like, holy cow! What is he ordering over there?
Never met my daughter. She is a black hole of food. Like food around her just disappears inexplicably.
Oh man, I know we don't have time for this, but I'll share it with you guys anyway. So I was on a call, like kind of a partner program for a very large company, and they were harping hard, like, please don't use like gender specific pronouns. I have no idea.
Pronouns like hey
pronouns,
guys.
Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, no problem. Like I have no problem with that whatsoever. Like I don't ever do that. I just call people best friends, right? I get on the call. What do I do 10 times? I refer to them as guys. I'm like, why the hell did I just do this? Like I couldn't. I'm like, is it just because they're a big company? Is it because they were harping so hard not to do it? And I legit, like, regardless of how I may feel about this, I did feel really bad that, like, they asked me to on several different prep calls not to do it. And yet I was just firing left and right. Like, hey guys, I'm like, are you kidding? Like, I'm just sitting there like, I think people could read it on my face, like just how annoyed with myself that I was, but whatever, it happens. They were cool about it at the end of the day.
Old habits die hard.
But that's the thing. I don't do it anymore. Like, I just don't. But for some reason, they were harping on it, and I was like, all right, I won't do that. Does it 10 times. What the hell?
The whole Oedipus thing. The harder you try to fight it, the more you meet your destiny.
It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah,
I find it hard. Just and then adding those little things, and it's tough. Being on the podcast for the last 2 years has helped, but I'm still the same.
It does help. I was asked to record some videos for some internal training, and I was like, all right, no problems. I was working on like the lighting and stuff because it wasn't like a light board. It was just a 5-minute dialogue. So I get on there and I try it. The first time I do it, I run through, I hit record, knowing full well that this isn't going to be the one I send over, just because wasn't sure if it's going to look appropriate. Go through it, no problem. What I said was like spot on, no crutch words. Like it was delivered. I'm like, oh, I just got to do that again. Fix the lighting, make sure my background, the green screen's on. Go to do it. I think I recorded that same video 17 times yesterday because I just kept screwing up left and right. I'm like, how is this? Like, I don't understand how I did it right the first time, but then every other time it just got exponentially worse. And I have more to do still.
Just like the podcast, you keep going, you edit it in post.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I don't want anyone to have to edit and post, but it happens.
Well, then stop swearing so much on the podcast, then, Brian.
You don't know how much time Chris spends editing our podcast. Just audio in post, not even video.
How about you eat my with a spoon?
For our second topic, an interesting article in the Wall Street Journal. Some people have found a clever use for ChatGPT, And one of the ethical arguments of AI is it going to take our jobs? Is it going to replace this industry or that industry? Is this ethical? Is it not? But I think there is one use of AI that 100% of people would agree is a good use of AI, and that is torturing telemarketers. So if you've ever gotten one of those annoying phone calls about your car's extended warranty or your student loan debt consolidation, some guy out there, I can't remember his name, it's in the article that I'll link through, he developed a chatbot using ChatGPT's API. And basically what happens is when he gets a telemarketer call, he sends it to this chatbot. And with the advent of AI and large language models, it can not only develop a script, it can adapt to whatever the telemarketer is calling about, and it can synthesize voices as well. So this AI chatbot is actually speaking live to this telemarketer. And one of the examples they give in the article is somebody from a credit card consolidation company calls up and says, I'm from so-and-so credit card company. How many credit cards do you have? How much debt do you have? Would you like to consolidate at this new low rate? And then on the other side, it's the AI chatbot doing this whole thing that says, oh, yeah, I have 5 credit cards. Let me go get my wallet. And then he'll put him on hold for 5 minutes. And then the bot will pretend to go get his wallet. And then it says, oh, yeah, I have a Visa. I have a credit union card. And just waste their time. Like the whole point of this is to waste their time and to torture them. They're never going to get a sale out of it because they're talking to a chat bot. But it's just hilarious how people have adapted to this. And I say this is a good use of AI, and I think it's also on both sides too, because I think some of the telemarketers are also using AI and large language models to develop better scripts and to at least do the intro calls and get people hooked and on the line before it switches to a live person. So this is going to be an arms race of the telemarketers versus the people that are trying to fight back against.
Could you imagine? These AI servers are just busy with high compute talking to each other the whole time. That would be hilarious. You battle that AI versus AI.
And who gets rich?
Who gets rich? Eh? Yeah. Yeah.
Buy calls on NVIDIA.
Yeah.
I think it's brilliant. I love this. I don't get very many telemarketer calls though.
You don't?
No. Maybe it's because I just sell. Oh, you know what? What is the do not call registry?
So for everyone out there, Brian's number is 925
555
That's one thing that I think Obama did right, like the do not call registry.
That stopped though. I'm getting a lot of calls now. I don't know why.
There's too many exceptions to it. So number one, if these call centers in India, they don't have to honor it, because even if the FCC here or the FTC can slap a fine on them, it's not enforceable in these foreign countries. And then number two, they carved out huge exemptions from guess who. Political action committees are exempt from it. Charities are exempt from it. They don't have to honor it. So you can still get all these unsolicited calls even if you're on the registry.
Have you ever fallen victim to that and like actually just gave in? Just like, fine, I'll listen to you. You're like, this sounds like a worthy cause. I'll donate.
I have. The closest I ever got was somebody calling, and it was a cause of like, all right, maybe, and then I asked them if they're a 501c tax exempt, and like, no. I'm like, oh, sorry, I only donate to tax exempt organizations, because if they're not tax exempt, that means they're for profit.
God, the minute I hear the pause handoff, I hang up.
I do that too. And then my wife gets mad at me. She's like, it could be someone important. Give him a second. I'm like, no, someone takes more than 3 seconds to say hello. It's a robot dialing.
Yeah. Do you ever have people like you get on and you're like, you're just bored. I got nothing to do for the rest of the morning or for part of the morning. You just ended a call early and you go, all right, pitch me.
No,
sell me on something.
I never have that much time on my hands that I can entertain a telemarketer.
Oh, I would just be like, all right, pitch me. Tell me what you got. What are you trying to sell me? So
you
got that.
Do you give tips for Boiler Room?
Yeah, that's from Boiler Room.
Yeah,
that's exactly from Boiler Room.
Don't pitch that. Never mind. I would do.
I know where Brian was going with that one.
Forever. No, during, I think it was RSA, I did visit several booths, and I will say that I do get calls. I wouldn't call it telemarketing, but I do have like inside sales reps calling me
SDRs
left, right.
calls.
Yeah, but here's the wild part. If you want to get some wild ass swag moving forward, next time you register for like Black Hat or something like that, just put the word chief in your name, because I would never, historically I never got any type of wild offers, maybe an email, whatever. But now it's like, hey, how would you like to have a custom pair of Air Force Ones, or come talk to us for 15 minutes, watch this video or listen to this video, and we'll send you like an Xbox One, right? Like it's like the things that they're giving away are insane. Like Ray-Bans, although I don't know how much Ray-Bans are. I think they're a lot, but yeah, just kind of. I'm like, and I'll sometimes I'll even talk to him like, dude, I'm not your guy. Like I can't. I have zero budget. I don't no one reports to me. And he's like, I know, just do it, man. We'll hook you up. We'll give you this. I'm like, Jesus, man, chill out.
Well, little do you
SDR is
know,
trying to hit their quota.
Yeah, they're just trying to hit a number. They're trying to get a warm body to a meeting. Yeah, it's a game.
There's that
somebody lowbrow would take advantage of that for sure.
I think it was Charlie Munger. He says something along the lines of, "Show me the incentives, and I'll show you the outcomes." And that's exactly it. If you want SDRs to book meetings, then give free Xboxes. They'll book meetings. They won't be good meetings, but they'll book meetings. And then you change the quota a little bit. It has to be an opportunity, or it has to be a cold call that turns into an opportunity. Then but I think you see where I'm going with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's a good call. Next RSA, I'm going to register as the Chief Security Officer of PEBCAK Industries.
There you go.
There you go. I think I'll do the same.
Get an Xbox and Air Force Ones. I'll wear it on the show. Like, I'll wear all the free swag on the show. That'd be funny.
Hey, Black Hat's coming up. Should we try it?
I already registered, so it's too late for me.
What? I haven't registered yet,
I think
so
you still probably go in there and change your profile name on it, at least.
Yeah.
Just C dash something. CFU.
And it's not that far-fetched either, because there's so many, like, we have Chief HR Officer now, we have Chief Digital Officer. You can make your own chief titles. These things didn't exist 5 years ago.
I think we're on to something here.
Chief all-around good guy.
There you go. All right, for our third topic, some research from a company called Overt Operator, and it was picked up by Malwarebytes, and they did a pretty good blog write-up for this. It relates to a topic we talked about last week about various text message scams, but it actually takes it a little bit further, and this is for that missing package type scam. There's a threat actor out there that has hijacked search engine. Like they've taken out ads on search engines like Google and Bing and the like, and they use the word USPS tracking. So that here in the US, that's the United States Postal Service. So when you type in USPS tracking, because that's pretty popular, you get a tracking number. I don't know how to use this. I search for how to use the tracking, and then the first sponsored ad, it actually looks really legitimate. It says https://www.usps.com. And the way they get away with that is they show a static image of the correct URL. So that's the first thing to do is pretty clever. It looks really, really convincing. But when you actually click on it, it takes you to a phishing domain. But let's say that you fall for it, or somebody falls for it. Nobody listening to the show would ever fall for that for sure. But if somebody knows someone that falls for this, it takes you to the USPS page. You type in any tracking number, and it says, oh, we can't deliver this package because you owe us a service fee. And the service fee is nominal, like 35 cents, 50 cents. And it's a pretty low bar to get people to click through. So it says, okay, fine, I'll pay the 50 cents to deliver it. So then I enter my credit card information. You may or may not get charged the 50 cents, but now the threat actor has your full credit card number and your name, address, and all those details. Now they take it even a step further. They can actually parse the credit card number and figure out which bank issued it. So if I have a Chase credit card, if I have a Bank of America credit card, it will actually take you to the next step and say, oh, this is a Bank of America credit card. We're going to implement additional verification. Please log into your Bank of America account. So then they phish your banking credentials that way. And it's actually really convincing, because when I buy things using my Visa card, sometimes it does take me to either my issuing bank, or it takes me to verified by Visa, and it says, enter this additional information, or we're going to send you a 2FA code. So it's legitimate that a bank might have to verify a transaction, but I thought it was really clever, and the sites in question now have been taken down as phishing sites, but that doesn't mean it's gone forever. It's got to just pop up under a new domain.
So freaking brilliant, but like, again, they're just banking on stupid people. I think I've done a great job of educating everyone in my family that we don't click on sponsor links ever. Like, we're not dumb. Heck, I think even if you try in my house, it gets blocked.
Yeah, you have the ad block at the Pi-hole level, the DNS level.
No, I'm doing it with Zscaler, but yeah, I'm blocking any like Google ad services, so it just doesn't. The link just doesn't render.
That's a good call. And the other thing is install an ad blocker. Like uBlock Origin's a really good one. And I think at one point, even the US FBI was recommending, even on federal agency computers, everyone should install an ad blocker to stop things exactly like this from happening.
I think that goes down to just good hygiene, right? Like, what should we do as a list of things, like top 5, 10 things that people should do just to protect themselves?
Well, for mobile, we talked a little bit about it last week, I think, for your mobile phone. But if you can, I highly recommend installing an ad blocker. And it's a little pet peeve of mine when I'm on like an internal company call and somebody shares a screen and it's filled with ads. Like, it literally hurts my eyes to look at ads now because I've been using Brave and uBlock Origin for so long, and there's just like these flashing banners. You're the 10,000th visitor. Click here for your prize. Like, I physically cannot look at this ad.
It makes you sick. Poor Chris.
First world problem for sure.
Have you? Not that you guys would ever do this, but obviously you're paying money to be the top result, right? You know that there's services out there that will basically go click those links and drain their funds on purpose.
Yes, I'm aware of that. Yeah, because every click costs money. It's pay per click.
Yeah, so they'll just unload a bandwagon of bots that are out there to click on those things. So, but that was pretty clever. I've actually seen it in action where it was the top result and then it's just gone. But man, like there's some terms that we use internally that like you're like 7 or 8 links deep before you find something that's organic.
Yeah, and the other thing that some of these threat actors do out there is they just steal other people's accounts. They steal someone else's AdWords accounts. Even if you're draining their account, you're draining some innocent poor victim out there that had weak passwords. But always go to the website. If you want to use USPS tracking, don't search for the term. Just go straight to the website, USPS.com. It's not too hard to remember. And then be very, very careful of any sponsored results. And install an ad blocker.
Easy peasy. Sounds like it, right? But surprised at how many people don't do that, though. That's the thing.
And a Pi-hole, and a cloud proxy, and a enterprise browser. What else we got?
I think that's the problem, right? Like, we in that work in this environment understand that. It's what does the average person that doesn't know that, right? Like my wife, your mom, grandma. Like, how do we help them?
We gotta teach them to, like, it just takes time to educate. Like my stepdad, he's like, hey, is this email legit? And sure enough, it really was from Chase Bank or something, and telling him to, they had seen his email address and password on the dark web. And so he's like, I gotta come through here and change my password. I was like, all right, so, this is what we do. And so I'm like, what's your current password to log in? He's like, oh, let me open up the Notes app, right? And then I'm like, oh my God, this is terrible. And then it's like the password's like, it's Mugsy 12345 exclamation mark. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, hey, what's your password for iCloud? He's like, oh, it's probably the same password. I'm like, oh, this is, you're just waiting. You're waiting for a moment to be raped over the coals.
Yeah. All right, for our last topic, and it'll be a rotating topic every week. This week, we're going to talk about the return of Prime Day. I think by the time this show airs, it'll actually have already passed, but we're recording this before Prime Day. And this is Amazon's annual sale where we buy Tiwu, things we never use. What's on your Prime Day list this year?
I'll let you go first, Chris. I'm curious.
Yeah.
The top of my list is an espresso maker for the new house, and I have my eye on a very specific model. I just want to see if it might go on sale this year. It usually doesn't. Costco sometimes has it on sale, but I don't think they.
Is it the one that does its own grind as well? It grinds the coffee and then auto.
It's got to be an all-in-one. So I actually visited Guy, and Guy has this espresso machine, and I was jealous of it. But I already
this is
have
like
my
$5,000 though. This is really expensive.
It's worth it, Glenn. It's worth it. Just think of how many trips I don't take to Starbucks when I make my own coffee at home.
So here's the realization.
There's a lot of trips, man.
I just come to the realization I could buy the most expensive machine and it could like pour gold out of it, that coffee that I love, but I'm still going to go to a coffee store to go drink coffee and hang out over there because I think it's just part of my persona. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm going to go. It's like, how many of you guys buy groceries every week and then eat out? I know I do. I waste a lot of food. So I don't like cooking.
Coffee shop's an experience. So if you go there for that and to have people comment on your shoes, then if that's your thing, then more power to you.
Well, I like noise. I like to go to coffee shops in the morning. I like the noise. I get settled in. I look at my email, kind of plan my day, get things going. If a friend comes by, then we chat for a couple minutes, and then I kind of leave. Here in Vacaville, which is really nice, there's a couple of areas where you can charge your car for free. So while the hour, 2 hours that I'm sitting there, kind of getting my day started at 7:00 in the morning, get a free charge at the same time.
Wow, that sounds so horrible. I don't understand why you'd want to do
that. It's rough.
So two things. What? One, if you're paying for the coffee, it's not free charging, it's the cost of the coffee. And then number two, if you like background noise, I think we talked about it before, but Spotify, if you look for background noise or coffee shop on Spotify, they actually have a playlist that you can have that plays background noise for you.
Maybe I'm just a social person that wants to be outside and watch people interact. So,
I think you are, man.
I think I am.
So. I say that like you're a weirdo, but every morning I go to the gym, right? So maybe that's my social noise and seeing people and whatnot.
Could be.
Yeah. Join spin classes, Brian.
Yeah. So just the coffee machine. If we're back on track again, on topic. So that's just the coffee machine.
Yeah, it's doubtful it's going to go on sale. Like if I want a coffee machine, I'm sure I could find one, but I'm looking for a very, very specific one, and it may or may not go on sale. I recently bought a Steam Deck, and that's a portable gaming device. That was a gift to myself. I rarely actually buy gifts for myself, so this is one thing I splurged on. And it was only because it's on Steam Summer Sale. I would never pay full price for this thing. So maybe stuff for that, maybe like a protective case or something. I'll keep an eye out for that. I recently bought a new Kindle. So my old Kindle Paperwhite, I've had it for 7 years now. It sort of died. There was like a line across the screen that wouldn't go away, and then the Wi-Fi would never hold. No matter if factory reset it, the Wi-Fi I think just died on it. So I bought a new Kindle, and here's a tip. So I have these old Fire Stick devices that are probably also 7 years old. You could trade that in. You get 20% off the price of a new Kindle, and I think I got like $5 for it too. And then I bought the Kindle for Kids edition, and it's around the same price, or it's maybe just slightly more, but the Kindle for Kids edition has a few benefits. So one, you get a free case with it. Two, you get I think it's a 2-year no questions asked warranty. Even if you drop it and break it, you drop it in a swimming pool and it breaks, you send it back to them for 2 years, no questions asked. They'll send you a brand new one. And number three, the biggest benefit of the Kids edition is no ads. So there's no ads on the Kids edition of the Kindle. And then once I got it, I switched it out of Kids mode, put it in adult mode, and you'll never know the difference.
What's the difference? I've got to ask. What's the difference between adult mode and kids mode? It's just
no ads.
It's
no, but it ends up getting ads if he takes it into adult mode.
No. Even in adult mode, it doesn't. So the device is a kid's device, so it'll never have ads. But the kids part, you can set screen time of how much time they can use it, and then there's a rating restriction too, that you can only read kids books on it. So when you're in adult mode, it's just like any other Kindle, just no ads and a free case.
So this goes down to Chris's frugality here.
Yeah.
Not only that, but I'm still shocked that he has a Kindle, because I know he also has an iPad.
It's different. So, like if you take it to the beach, you can't read an iPad at the beach. Like anything that's backlit in direct sunlight is hard to look at. So that's why
I don't know about
like
you.
Paperwhite.
the last thing I want to do is read at the beach.
Yeah, there's this thing called the
water.
ocean.
Yeah, the water.
Reading by the pool, reading in your
sand,
backyard, take your pick.
Yeah.
Well, both of your backyards have pools, so that's synonymous. But unlike you guys, I don't have a pool in my backyard. So if I read in my backyard, I need something that's not backlit.
Hey, here's
I like
an
the
idea,
fact that
Father
it's
of the
light,
Year.
so-
How about you watch your kids
Yeah.
around water, you loser?
Yeah.
God damn, man. Just kidding, Chris. I know your wife takes care of the kids while you sunbathe.
Nice.
And the only thing I'm looking for is actually an Audible promo. I've taken a page out of Glenn's book, and I'm consuming about 2 books a month on Audible. So if there's a promo for like 3 months free or 3 months for the price of 1, I'll probably pick that up.
God, you're really trying just for the first 3 months free, knowing that you're gonna get it eventually. That's awesome. So, yeah, I'm looking for some small things. You know, I like the switches still, so I'm looking for some outdoor Alexa or some smart plugs, so that way I can turn lights on without having to go over there and turn stuff off and on.
And you can automate it
yeah.
too. You could say turn on like an hour after sunset or something.
Yeah. I think that's the stuff. And looking for a couple more cameras, more Ring cameras to put around the house. But yeah, I got my pool vacuum last year, but I think it was right after Prime Day, because it really didn't go off on price. But yeah, and I'm looking for like one of those studio lights. Have you seen those? Like those ring lights?
Ring light, yeah.
Yeah, the selfie lights. But I'm looking for a selfie bar now. I think it's made by Blue, the company Blue that does the same
Makes the
for
Yeti.
our microphone.
Yeah.
Makes the Yeti microphone. Yeah. Just simply because I don't think I have enough lighting yet sometimes in my office. So I think being able to highlight my cheekbones is going to be a lot nicer.
You're absolutely right.
You gotta be careful about
That's
if
right.
you buy into the Ring ecosystem. There was a story, I'll probably link to it here. There's a story of a guy that had Ring all around his house, cameras, smart locks, the works. And there's an Amazon driver that thought he heard a racial slur come out of one of the Ring doorbells. Like he thought the delivery driver thought the owner was saying racial slurs at him, and Amazon cut off his entire access. They shut down his Amazon account, shut down his Ring account. He could not get into his house because everything's smart. He doesn't carry a physical key with him. For like a couple days, this guy was just locked out of his house because Amazon thought he said a racial slur to him. And they played it back, and there was the guy wasn't even home at that time, and he wasn't connected to the app at that time. So just be careful with the Ring ecosystem, because they could literally cut you off at any time.
Yeah, you're probably right. That's probably any ecosystem in general, but I don't have that full automation set up. Just cameras, right? That's all I'm trying to do. Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, so we have some of the Ring ecosystem in the old house as well, and the doorbell sits facing the western facing, so that thing is dying. We've had it for a while. It's the Arizona sun is beating it down, so I'm gonna probably look to replace that.
What if you get a sunshade or something for it? They make that.
Yeah, and then it just doesn't show you people mocking up. Yeah, that'd be great. It's physically, it's the button, it cracked and just fell off. So, but the camera still actually works. It's surprising, man, because it gets freaking hot. I love Ubiquity, so I'll probably look around and see if anything goes on sale there, just to spend money, I guess. Right? I like them, so I think they're pretty cool. The other one is Nintendo's releasing a game in, I think, October or November of this year, and my wife and I and the kids, we love Super Mario Brothers. So we don't have a Switch, but this new game's coming out, and it's called Super Mario Brothers Wonder, which is the old school way of playing Mario. Anyway, so long story short, I don't own a Switch, but I'm probably gonna buy a Switch and some controllers. That way, when the game comes out, you can buy it real quick and then go back and have some family fun nights.
So what you're saying is you're going to spend $500 to play a 30-year-old game?
Well, so watch the clip of it. I mean, it's
I know, I get it.
It's a new version of the game, but yeah. It's still a lot of fun though. When it comes to Mario, we're super competitive, so we'll get 4 controllers and go there and try to beat the game as fast as possible.
It's good. Do a speed run. I remember when I had the original Xbox and I hacked it so I could play NES games on it, and someone said, "Congratulations, you bought a cutting-edge gaming system just to play 30-year-old games."
It's true. I remember the Xbox first came out. I'm like, it's got to be Windows, right? We can hack this thing. No, it wasn't running Windows.
Xbox OS.
Yep. And that's
Close.
it.
It was running Windows 95. You just didn't know it.
So you just reskinned it.
Yeah.
Continue to get great comments about our dad joke of the week.
Dad joke of the week.
This week, Glenn is up.
All right. I was sitting in the backyard with my wife when I suddenly blurted, "I love you." And she kind of looks at me and she says, "Is that you or the beer talking?" And I said, "It's me talking to the beer."
I feel like that was a real thing.
Wah, wah, wah. All right, to wrap things up, Threads is trying to kill Twitter. ChatGPT is being used to torture telemarketers, and that's a good thing. Beware of post office package delivery scams, and spend wisely on Prime Day. That's all I have for this week. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Find us on LinkedIn. Links will be in the description. Follow us on Instagram at PEBCAK Podcast. Thank you to all our listeners and subscribers who rated us 5 stars in the iTunes Store and Spotify and left us a review. We appreciate you all spreading the word to help grow the show. The best way to find us is to search for the PEBCAK Podcast on your favorite podcast listening app, which is no longer Stitcher, so find us on one of the other ones. For my co-hosts Brian Deach and Glenn Medina, I'm Chris Louie. Thanks for listening. We'll see you all next weekend. As always, have a nice day.
Bye, Felicia.
Happy Prime Day, everyone.
Nice day.